I'm a weight beater. What do you want to do?
Gervonta Davis, the undefeated lightweight boxing star, has found himself in the spotlight again. But this time, it's not for his fights. Reports say that he was allegedly attacked and targeted by his own fans. While the details of what happened are still unclear, this incident adds another chapter to the eventful and often controversial life of the two-time world champion.
Someone like Devin Haney, who just lost to Ryan Garcia, has a better resume than Tank, and that's just a reality. We haven't seen Tank fight for Undisputed Championship, which he doesn't seem to really care to have any of the titles that really do matter. He has one now. I just want to see him fight other champions, and if he can, go for the Undisputed. And if you're saying that you're the face of boxing, this and that, the face of boxing like Canelo Alvarez has been undisputed.
Tank Davis is a name often surrounded by controversy, both in and out of the ring. Known for his incredible rise in boxing, he remains undefeated and is a knockout powerhouse many believe could rule the sport for years. Despite his success, Davis has faced legal troubles and harsh criticism, keeping him in the spotlight for both his achievements and challenges.
Ryan, you say Ryan is a C-level fighter, but Tank say Ryan is the best fighter he fought. So what is it about Ryan that made Gervonta feel like he was the best he fought?
I don't know. He shared a ring with him. Maybe he fought all C-level fighters.
Recently, Tank Davis hasn't been impressing his fans. During a Lamont Roach press conference, he was asked if he wanted to leave a legacy in boxing, but Tank said he doesn't really care about that. For a pro boxer, saying this, especially without having faced top opponents, feels disrespectful to the sport. This has caused many fans to lose their admiration for him, and he hasn't been shining as a star lately. As Davis celebrated his 30th birthday, fans flooded social media with criticism instead of praise. What should have been a time for reflection and celebration turned into a wave of harsh comments questioning his career and status as a true champion. Despite being undefeated, holding 2 world titles, and ranking number 8 on Ring Magazine's pound-for-pound list, many fans argue that he hasn't faced the top-level opponents needed to secure his place among boxing's all-time greats.
I'm trying to get so much out of this and get away from it. Like, I have a house on an island. Y'all won't see me again type shit. Like, that's how I'm trying to beat. I'm trying to beat all this type shit. You know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to be around this too much longer. I don't even want this spotlight. Y'all can have it. This can have it. Once I beat him.
When Tank Davis turned 30, many hoped he would finally prove his greatness by defeating a top-tier opponent. But fans instead continued to question his legacy. Under social media posts celebrating his career, one fan wrote, "All that talent, world champion at 22, and by 30 still hasn't fought an elite guy? What a waste." Another pointed out, he's never fought a reigning champ at 135 pounds. The backlash was sharp, with many agreeing that Davis has yet to face the kind of fighter who would truly show if he's as great as he claims to be.
My thing is, Gervonta Tank Davis only has, after this, 5 fights left. We're running out of time. I want some incredible things to happen. Tank is ahead.
The criticism didn't stop there, with many online comments saying that, despite Tank Davis's undeniable talent, his career hasn't been impressive. One person said, "Such a great talent with such an average resume," while another accused him of cherry-picking weaker opponents and using rehydration clauses to weaken any real threats. These harsh remarks flooded the internet at a time when Davis should have been celebrating his success. But instead, fans expressed frustration that he hasn't taken on the toughest challenges in the sport.
Back at Tank's resume, you like, yo, man, this man's resume was actually, thought they might have been nobody's a couple of years ago. And now they...
To understand the criticism Tank Davis faces, let's look at his journey in boxing. He became a world champion at 22 by defeating Jose Pedraza for the IBF super featherweight title in a fight that showed his power and potential as a future star. However, not long after, Davis ran into trouble when he missed weight before his second defense against Francisco Fonseca and was stripped of his title. This early setback cast a shadow over his first reign as champion, with fans and critics quick to highlight his failure to make weight. Despite this, Davis bounced back a year later, winning the WBA super featherweight title with a stunning knockout of Jesus Cuellar.
I think I do have more skills than Mike Tyson. Far as like, I mean, when I say I have more skills than Mike Tyson, guys smarter than like at a lower weight class always have more skill. It's no heavyweight ever in life had more skills than smaller guys.
That win was a big moment in Tank Davis's career, showing he could come back from setbacks. But for some fans, it still wasn't enough. They felt Davis was avoiding the toughest challenges, and this pattern seemed to continue when he moved up to lightweight and won the WBA regular title. Many questioned the level of his opponents, saying he wasn't fighting elite fighters. His best win came against Ryan Garcia in April 2023 with a stunning body shot knockout, showcasing his incredible power. However, even that victory sparked criticism because of the 10-pound rehydration clause in Garcia's contract, which some fans believed gave Davis an unfair advantage. After the fight, Ryan Garcia admitted he didn't feel at his best, saying, "I felt a little weak going into the ring. My legs didn't feel strong, but once the fight started, it all came together, so I can't blame it too much." Still, many fans felt the rehydration clause tainted Davis's victory, seeing it as another way to put his opponent at a disadvantage. Garcia's comments only fueled this belief, and some saw the win as less legitimate. Despite the controversy, the victory was important and cemented Davis's status as one of the top fighters in boxing.
Go against the big dogs. Stop playing all this bullshit, acting like you that dude. You that money dude for sure. But when it comes to like straight balls, you know what I'm saying? You got one dude that ran around in the ring the whole 12 rounds. You got another dude that run around all year from the hardest fucking fights. The ones that people want to...
Despite his impressive victory over Ryan Garcia, the critics weren't silenced. In his next fight, a title defense against Frank Martin in June 2024, Davis showed his power again with an 8th-round knockout. However, critics quickly pointed out that Martin wasn't the elite opponent Davis needed to prove his greatness. Now, with the recent incident involving pedestrians targeting Davis, the controversy continues. Fans have made it clear they want to see him face the best in boxing. But so far, that hasn't happened. Instead, Davis has kept building his career while seemingly avoiding the toughest challenges, something that has become familiar for him.
Like it'd be different, like fighting them. It'd be more so like coming to get them.
You would approach it differently.
Yeah.
A few weeks ago, boxing fans were shocked by the unexpected news of Davis's retirement plans at just 30 years old. The WBA lightweight champion, who was expected to dominate the division for years with his undefeated record and reputation as one of the sport's most dangerous punchers, seemed to be on a clear path to greatness. But in a surprising move, he announced that next year would be his last in the sport. His decision shocked and disappointed many in the boxing community, with fans wondering why a fighter in his prime would leave so early. However, when looking beyond the headlines, it's clear that the harsh realities of boxing have taken a toll on Davis, a sport that demands so much physically and mentally.
Tank is the face of boxing, and he get a lot of knockouts that people kind of making it like, if you ain't doing what Tank doing, then they gonna say it's boring. Do you feel like it's because of how his style is that they kind of putting that on you, like wanting you to do that?
People is blessed with different ability. He's blessed with a God-given ability that he crack you 9 times out of 10, you gonna go down. That's his ability. I'm blessed with God-given eyes. A lot of people don't understand how good my eyes is. I can see really good, like punches coming out.
Davis has accomplished a lot in a short amount of time, but there's only so much a person can handle before questioning the price they're paying for success. The constant training, injuries, and mental pressure all build up over time, wearing down even the toughest fighters. Davis understands this, and his retirement announcement shows that for some boxers, the cost of continuing in the ring becomes too great.
I can't even say.
You don't have 2 fighters you would love to see get in the ring?
No. I have 2 fighters that I love just to see in person. Probably I would say Nwinwe. Probably who else?
In a way, Davis's decision to retire shows wisdom. He's not just a boxer, he's a father with a family to take care of, and his mental health is clearly a priority. His story is one of a fighter who has achieved more in a decade than many will in their whole careers. But despite all his success, Davis has made it clear that the sport has taken a toll on him beyond just the physical pain. In a world where fighters are often expected to keep going no matter the cost, Tank's decision to walk away is both brave and sad.
I want to fight him, bro, because he been tricking the boxing game for too long. He been tricking the boxing game for too long. He makes shit look good. He makes shit look better than what it is.
The world of boxing has seen many fighters who hang on too long, chasing the glory of one more win or one more payday, even when their bodies and minds are no longer in the game. The fact that Gervonta Davis is stepping away at a time when he's still at the top of his game is a reflection of a growing awareness among fighters about the cost of their careers. While some may criticize his decision, others understand it. And one of those voices belongs to former IBF flyweight champion Sonny Edwards, who also announced his retirement recently at the age of 28. If Davis can empathize with Davis more than most, like Tank, Edwards was once a rising star in his division. However, after a grueling fight with Galal Yafi on November 30th, Edwards admitted that he could no longer continue in the sport. "My body's falling apart," he confessed, reflecting on the multiple injuries he had sustained throughout his career for Edwards. The constant strain of training, the wear and tear from countless fights, and the mental toll of the sport had become too much to bear. It was a heartbreaking realization for the 28-year-old who had achieved so much in such a short amount of time, but it was also a necessary one. In a recent interview with Fight Hype TV, Edwards spoke candidly about his decision to retire and his understanding of Davis's situation. When asked about Tank's retirement announcement, Edwards gave a dry smile before saying, "I can relate," the former champion reflected on his own struggles and how, in this generation, athletes are becoming more self-aware of the pressures they face. Boxing is hard, man, Edwards said, acknowledging the brutal nature of the sport that both he and Davis had endured. He continued, "We're probably becoming more self-aware in this generation, more than everything else, about what this world is like and what we're doing it all for." For Edwards, the decision to leave the sport was not an easy one, but it was the right one, he explained. Boxing is your vehicle, and just by nature of the beast, it can never be forever. You're always on a clock against yourself, and when you think you've done enough, when you think that who can tell you otherwise, it's a sobering truth that many fighters have to come to terms with. There comes a time when you realize that you've given all you can to the sport and it's time to step away. Sonny Edwards' perspective sheds light on the mental and physical challenges that fighters face in a sport where every punch can have lasting consequences. He acknowledged that boxing is one of the hardest places to be, where a 36-minute fight can feel like an eternity. "The moment you cannot defend yourself no more, you are very vulnerable," Edwards said. "This is a reality that all boxers must confront. The moment when their body no longer responds the way it once did. For some, it comes sooner than expected, and for others, it's a gradual decline that eventually forces them to recognize that it's time to walk away." But while Edwards' retirement came with a sense of acceptance and peace, Davis's announcement has been marked by frustration and anger. During the official press conference for his upcoming fight against Lamont Roach, Tank was in a noticeably foul mood. His frustration was palpable as he declared, "After next year, I'm out of it. Yeah, out of this sport." The words were blunt and filled with emotion, as Davis shared his growing disillusionment with boxing.
No, I think Lamont Roach is a terrific fighter. He might be a little over his head with Gervonta Davis. Gervonta Davis is, to say the least, he's a beast. He really is. He's a tremendous fighter. He's a dedicated fighter when it comes to training and fighting and making sure.
Tank's anger wasn't just aimed at boxing itself, but at how much it had taken from him. He expressed being fed up with everything, and even called boxing trash. His words hit home with many in the audience, showing just how much the sport had consumed him. For Davis, the desire for titles and fame had lost its appeal. "I just want to be able to make money and stay out of the way. That's it. I want to live without being seen," he said.
You say before you retire you want to fight Devin and Shakur. Is that still the plan?
I never said that. When I said that, I never said that.
In an interview with Boxing Live, Davis talked about the mental toll boxing has taken on him. He admitted that the sport had affected his mental health so much that he was thinking about therapy to help him cope. However, he was worried that therapy might take away the competitive edge that had driven him throughout his career. "I want everything out of me so I don't ever think about fighting again," he said. "I don't even want to get angry because I have 2 daughters. I want to be softer, more humble, and things like that."
All right, guys, you guys wait for taxi?
Davis's admission shows the emotional strain boxing puts on its athletes. While fans may see him as someone with everything, money, titles, fame, the truth is more complicated. For Davis, the sport has left deep emotional scars, and he clearly wants to protect his family and his own well-being. He no longer wants to live as a fighter consumed by anger and aggression. He wants to be a father, a role model, and a man at peace with himself. Despite his frustration and anger, his decision to retire at 30 seems logical given everything he's been through, the toll on his body, the strain on his mind, and his desire for a more peaceful life. As Sonny Edwards wisely said, boxing is just a dangerous sport that demands everything from its athletes, but in the end, it's only a chapter in their lives, and for Davis, that chapter is closing sooner than expected. Mindset for greatness in boxing isn't just about physical attributes or raw talent. It's about a relentless drive to conquer new territories, defy expectations, and constantly push forward. Dan "Tank" Davis has undoubtedly shown the world that he is an exceptional talent. With his power, speed, and ring IQ, Tank is one of the most dangerous fighters in the lightweight division. However, to truly achieve greatness, he needs more than just skill in the ring. He needs the mindset that legendary fighters like Roberto Duran and Manny Pacquiao embodied. These fighters didn't confine themselves to one division. They sought challenges beyond their comfort zones and proved their greatness in multiple weight classes and levels. Roberto Duran, a name synonymous with greatness, didn't limit himself to just one division. The Panamanian legend started his career as a lightweight, but went on to conquer the welterweight, light middleweight, and even middleweight divisions. Duran's remarkable ability to transition between weight classes and still dominate is what made him an icon in the sport of boxing. His aim wasn't just to be a champion, it was to be the best, no matter the weight or the opponent. This unyielding determination to push beyond boundaries to test himself against bigger and stronger enemies, Manny Pacquiao, one of the greatest fighters to ever step into the ring, showed the world that greatness knows no boundaries. Pacquiao started his career as a small flyweight, but would eventually go on to become a champion in an astonishing 8 different weight classes, ranging from flyweight to welterweight. Pacquiao wasn't just a fighter with incredible physical abilities. His mindset was what set him apart. He didn't care about the size of his opponents, whether they were bigger or stronger. Pacquiao believed in his ability to outwork, outfight anyone who stood in front of him. This willingness to take on challenges in multiple divisions is what elevated Pacquiao to the status of boxing legend. But maybe we won't see Tank live up to this. What do you think? Share your thoughts below, and thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and stay informed. Stay tuned for more updates, and let's keep our news accurate.